I'm Carla Sanford, Montana State University Extension Beef Cattle Specialist. And last year I was brand new to MSU, and I visited with y'all about some of the things that I was interested in researching. And today I wanted to give you some information about some of the things that we have coming up in terms of research down here in Bozeman. Beef cattle production takes a systematic approach, and we have to master the efficient use of the resources that we have available so that we can achieve reproductive success in our herds and calf performance. So genetic selection of the dams and the sires that work in the environment that our ranch is in, that's critical, but also combined with not overusing and properly using the resources that we have available. So we usually know we're doing pretty good based off of how the land's looking, what resources we still have available, so our hay stocks, and then what our cows are looking like, our herds looking like. But what about the things that we can't see on the exterior? So reproductive organ blood flow is often something maybe we just don't think about it too much, but in research it's really interesting, especially to me, just the concept of investigating the environment that fetus or calf is developing in, and how the concept of what we call intrauterine programming, so kind of laying the foundation for that calf in utero in development, is going to kind of lay the foundation for how it's going to perform, how healthy it's going to be, its lifelong success down the road is starting very, very early on in that dam. And so learning about how the placenta functions and how it can be stimulated or at the least maintained in beef cattle, that's going to help us when we look at that calf maybe at birth, but also, of course, at weaning and later on in life. So research from others has indicated that there's a correlation between fetal growth restriction and reduced uteroplacental growth and development. So blood flow going to the reproductive organs is extremely important for fetal development, and an improvement in placental function has reported to lower the incidence of morbidity, mortality, and poor offspring growth. One technology that we can use to determine blood flow is color Doppler ultrasonography. So this ultrasound machine looks like what your veterinarian might use to ultrasound for pregnancy checking in your cows. But the machine, this particular technology, this color Doppler ultrasonography, can quantify blood flow patterns, so in a way that it's not invasive. And we know that mineral status and supplementation are of interest to us here in Montana because we rely heavily on forage-based cattle production, and then depending on the soils, the plant species, the maturity, the water mineral content that the gestating cow might be getting, all minerals that she needs or sometimes that she's getting too much of can create an issue. So it can create an issue on also how other minerals are working in her system. And what's interesting is that the fetus accumulates some minerals at different rates during development or gestation. And we often put a lot of emphasis on lactation, so the value of that milk of that cow going to that calf's going to get everything that it needs early on, and that is very critical, but not all minerals are high in that milk. So there's been some research done at Oregon State University where they supplemented zinc, magnesium, copper, and cobalt during the last trimester, and they noticed that they had heavier weaning weights in the calves that came from the dams that were supplemented with either inorganic or organic minerals, with the organic sources having the best results. So we can determine mineral status of cattle and calves by liver biopsies. The liver is used because it's the primary storage organ for many of the essential minerals. So with the technology of color Doppler ultrasonography, we at MSU want to investigate mineral status and supplementation of the dam and how it impacts uterine blood flow. And we hypothesize that through improved mineral status that we'll have an increase in uterine blood flow, and then this is going to improve cattle performance. And we're also interested in how these minerals are supplemented as far as source. So is it compressed block, an injectable product, or even a bolus that we can give to the animal? So placental function we know is important to our endpoint in beef cattle production, because if we think about it, the placenta is providing nutrients, it's getting rid of gas and waste between the dam and the calf. And if we think about that of a steer that's going to head to the feedlot, that calf actually is going to spend about 35 to 40% of its life being developed in utero. So that mother is very critical to the foundation of that calf's success. And then also it's the foundation of those replacement heifers that hopefully are going to last for years in our breeding stock. The placenta does all of this by increasing blood flow over the course of the pregnancy. So more blood for that growing calf, and we know that exponential growth of that fetus or that calf happens during the third stage of gestation, and it takes a lot of nutrients and blood flow. But the blood vessels that are forming early on in the pregnancy, those are the ones that are going to develop into those large vessels that are going to send the nutrients through blood flow. So thus far, the research in livestock is indicating that poor growth performance in our offspring is associated with decreased blood flow that's going to the uterus and the placenta from the dam. So poor performance is going to equal ranch loss. So we need to research, so that we can better understand uterine blood flow or uterine hemodynamics, and then placental function, and then investigate how management strategies that we can use can minimize poor performance and perhaps even improve performance. But are these management strategies viable for the Montana beef cattle producer? So we're hoping to test this by administering supplemental minerals at critical time points of pregnancy, and then determining the impacts on the calf at birth through weaning to begin with. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you're enjoying your field day so far. If you have any questions or know of a way that I might be of assistance to you or your operation, please don't hesitate to contact me. Here's my email and my phone number, and I hope y'all stay safe and well out there.